Yes, good afternoon, my dear students. So today class we are going to discuss about the strut with lateral loads. So we call it as a beam columns also. So generally we know when the column, if you observe anywhere, it is like this. It is a section. Okay, the load is acting like this. So this is nothing but axial compressive load. Okay. So this type of the thing, when you observe this one, we call it as a columns. Okay. So the columns are subjected to only axial compressive load. But if in case the column are also subjected to the transverse load, if it is like this, so we call it as a beam columns. So generally the columns carries only axial compressive loads. If the columns are also subjected to the transverse load, okay, the transverse load, or we call it as a horizontal thrust also sometimes. Okay, so when when transverse loads also, if it is subjected to the column, we call it as a beam columns. Okay, generally these transverse loads are uniformly distributed entire the member. Okay, but here let us consider two cases in beam columns. The first case is transverse load is a point load and acts at the center. Okay. The second case is, okay, the second case is transverse load is uniformly distributed. So for this case in the beam columns, my dear students, so we have to consider the two cases. The first case is the transverse load is a point load and it will act at the center. And the second case is the transverse load is uniformly distributed load. Okay. So by these two conditions, we have to calculate the derivations and we have to calculate the maximum bending moment and also maximum deflection and also maximum stress. So based on that formulas, whatever we got, we have to solve some problems also, one problem for each case. Okay. So now the first thing is transverse load is a point load and act at the center. We will take the first condition, we will derive for that one. I will write here strut subjected to compressive axial load or axial thrust and a transverse point. A transverse point load at the center. And here the condition is both ends are pinned. My dear students, so now we will derive the equation for this condition is when the strut is subjected to a compressive axial load or axial thrust, whatever it may be, both are same. Okay. Or suppose if it is in vertical condition, when you apply a load, we call it as axial load. But when it is in a horizontal position, when you apply a load, we call it as the axial thrust. And also the transverse point load, where there is a point load is there, we are applying at the center. The condition for this one, for the strut is both ends are pinned. Now I will take and I will draw clearly. This is the strut or column or beam column. Okay. This is the A and also B. There is a axial thrust like this. P is acting like this. Okay. And the load is acting at the center, the point load. This is the deflection or deformation. Now, the total length of the strut is L. Okay. If you see in this diagram, this AB is a strut of length. Total length is the L. Subjected to the axial load is the P, and transverse point load is W. My dear students, once again I will repeat. If you observe here, the strut is AB. Okay. The length of that strut is L, and also it is subjected to the compressive axial load is P on both sides. Along with there is a transverse point load, that is a W, acting at the center of the strut. Okay. And the condition is the strut is pinned at the both ends of the strut. Okay. Now consider a section, a distance of x from the NDA. For suppose I will consider a section x here from the NDA. Okay. So let us take at this place, at this section, the deflection should be y. So let us take the deflection is y. Okay. Now we will calculate the bending moment for this section. So my dear students, once again I will repeat. Here we are taking AB value. This is the A and also this is the B. Okay. My dear students, this is a strut, and when you apply a load, the axial load is P, the length of the strut is L, and also we are applying the transverse point load is W here. After that, we will take a section at a distance of X from the NDA. At the section, let us take the deflection is Y. So these are the condition of the column is pinned connections are at the both ends. Okay. Now for this case, we have to calculate the bending moment M. What happens? P into Y. It is in this sign. That's why minus P into Y. Minus here W is there. So W into up to this point. This is the X by 2. W by 2 into X. So like this we have to take here. Okay. Now sorry, not this one. Not this W. We have to take this one. The reactions. RA and also RB. So you will get W by 2, RB is the W by 2. Now I am taking this point moment at this section. Okay. So P into Y, W by 2 into X. See this one we will get. Okay. Both on same direction. In the clockwise direction we are taking the negative sign. I will write again. Bending moment M equal to minus Py minus W by 2 into X. Yes, my dear students, again I will explain. If you consider the point from A, left side A, W by 2 into this distance, okay, and P into Y, you will take the deflection like this, okay. This is the moment we got still now. Now the bending moment is also given by, we know that already, that is M equal to EI into d square y by dx square. So now we have to equate both these equations. Okay, I will equate EI into d square y by dx square equal to minus py minus w by 2 into x. Now I will send this EI into the right side. D square y by dx square equal to minus p by EI multiply by y minus w by 2 EI into x. This is the equation we got still now. Now I will send this one to the left hand side. So the next step is d square y by dx square plus p by EI into y equal to minus w by 2EA into x. So finally we got this equation. Okay. So if you observe here, whatever we got this equation, now we have to write the solution for this equation. Number of times in the previous classes and the previous lectures, we calculated that one already. I will write the solution for this differential equation. Now, how to write the solution of the above differential equation is y equal to c1 cos x into square root of p by ei plus c2 into sin x into square root of p by ei minus w by 2 ei into x by p by ei. So like this we will get the solution for the above equation. Okay. So you can write again this equation like this: y equal to c1 cos x into square root of p by ei plus c2 sin x into square root of p by ei minus w into x by 2p. Why? Because here ei and ei should be a cancel. So this is our differential equation now. So my dear students, we solve the solution in the yesterday class and day before yesterday class. Also, we take the square root of p by a equal to alpha. So like this, you will get the solution. Okay. Now, for this equation, okay, we have to calculate the slope. Slope is nothing but dy by dx. Now I will write, if it is dy by dx, what happened? Cos is nothing but minus sine. Sine is nothing but cos. Okay. So with respect to x, I will write the differential equation for the above equation. That is dy by dx equal to minus c1 square root of p by ei sine x into square root of p by ei. Okay. Plus c2 into square root of p by ei cos x into square root of p by ei minus w by 2p. Okay. So this is the equation number of 4, whatever we got still now here. So I will give the numbers for the each equation clearly. Okay. Wait for listen. So this one, equation number 1. Okay. And again, this one, whatever we are seeing, this one, m equal to a by d square. This is the equation 2. And third one is the solution, whatever we got. This one, equation 3. And fourth one, just now we got the slope value, equation 4. Okay. Now we have to calculate the values of C1 and C2. So these are obtained by the boundary condition. So the first boundary condition is at x equal to 0, y equal to 0. So hence from the equation 3, so equation 3 is nothing but y equal to, I will write again for your better understanding, x into p by ei plus c2 sine x into square root of p by ei minus wx by 2p. So here y equal to 0, x equal to 0. So here x equal to 0, x equal to 0. What happens? Cos 0 equal to 1. Okay, that's why. So here c1 into 1. Sin 0 equal to 0. W into x is 0, 0. Okay, so what happens? Y equal to 0. So c1 equal to 0. So my dear students, whatever I am writing here, so please understand clearly. Okay. The next step, the next boundary condition is x equal to L by 2, dy by dx equal to 0. Okay. So if substitute into the dy by dx, the slope equation already we have, that is here, this equation. I will substitute in that equation. I will write again that equation. Okay, that is dy by dx equal to minus c1 square root of p by ei into sine x of square root of p by ei plus c2 into square root of p by into cos x of square root of p by ei minus w by 2p. So here dy by dx equal to 0. Okay. Then x equal to what happens? L by 2. Here also L by 2. I will substitute here. Okay. Here C1 is 0 already. Just now we calculated here. Okay. So if it is C1 0, entire term is also 0. Now I will substitute into this equation. C2 into square root of P by EI into cos of L by 2 square root of P by EI minus W by 2P. So my dear students, we got like this. So then what happens? The C2, if you send this one to the right side, I will write clearly. The C2 square root of P by EI into cos L by 2 square root of P by EI equal to W by 2P. So if I send this this one enter to the right side, then what happens? The C2 value equal to W by 2P into square root of this one. If you go to the right side, it will change numerator to denominator, denominator to numerator. Then 1 by this one. If you go to the right side, 1 by cos L by 2 square root of P by EI. Okay. So then again what happens? C2 equal to W by 2P square root of EI by P. Okay. Then 1 by cos is nothing but secant. Secant of L by 2 into square root of P by EI. So now my dear students, this is the C2 value. So still now we got C1 and C2, we got whatever we got the constants. Now substitute these C1 and C2 in equation 3. Okay, equation 3 is nothing but our solution of our differential equation. I will write again that one. Y equal to C1 cos x into square root of P by EI plus C2 sine of x into square root of P by EI minus Wx by 2P. Okay, so I will substitute here. That is nothing but y equal to C1 is 0. So this is completely 0. So C2, just now we calculated here, this one, please substitute here, that is W by 2P into square root of EI by P into secant of L by 2 square root of P by EI. Okay, multiply by the sign is there, sine x into square root of P by EI minus Wx by 2P. Okay, then what happens next step? W by 2P square root of EI by P. Okay, so here if you observe here, secant is like this, sine is like this. Okay, anyway later we will discuss regarding this one. So we will write secant by sine, 1 by cos like that. Anyway in the next step we will discuss that. So I will write as it is. Yeah, so this one we got the y value. Okay, so now from the equation 5, this is the equation 5, whatever it may be, we will denote. It will give the deflection at the any section. For suppose if you need the deflection, okay, at any section, if the problem they will ask you how to use this formula only. That is W by 2P and multiply with the EA by P and also secant L by 2 square root of P by EA sine x into square root of P by EA minus Wx by 2P. Okay. Now let us find the maximum deflection, maximum bending moment and maximum stress induced here. Okay. From this data, now we will calculate the maximum deflection. For suppose this is the y, already we know the deflection is the maximum at the center. Everyone knows that. So at the time what happens? X equal to L by 2. So now substitute x equal to L by 2 here in this equation. I will write again. The first step is maximum deflection. That is nothing but y max. Okay. What happens? The maximum deflection is occur at the center only. Okay. So at the time what happens? X equal to L by 2. If it is overall length is L, at the midpoint the distance is L by 2. So like this, the L by 2 please substitute into this equation. So here only it will change and here also. So now I will substitute here. I will write y max equal to W by 2p into square root of EA by P into secant L by 2 square root of P by EI sine L by 2 square root of P by EI minus W by 2P into L by 2. So here this is the x value we substituted and here also x value we substituted L by 2. So what happens? I will write here W by 2P into square root of EI by P into, for suppose secant we have to write secant is nothing but 1 by cos. Okay. So if I write 1 by cos theta into this is sine theta, what happens? Tan theta will happen. So here theta is nothing but L by 2 square root of P by A. Here also L by 2 square root of P by A. So I will write tan of L by 2 square root of P by EI minus W into L by 2 into 2 for a P. So this is the Y max equation, the maximum deflection whatever we got here. Okay. Next we will go for the maximum bending moment. So the maximum bending moment we know already m equal to minus py plus w by 2 into x. Okay. So everyone knows the maximum value where you will get at the center at the time y equal to y max, then x equal to L by 2. You have to substitute these values in the above equation. So in this equation we have to substitute. What happens? M equal to minus py plus w by 2 into x. So m equal to minus y is nothing but y max, x is nothing but L by 2. So py max plus w by 2 into L by 2. Now y max, regarding the y max, what is the y max here? Just now we calculated here. This is the y max. So in the maximum deflection is nothing but y max. You have to substitute into the y max here in this formula. Okay, I will write here clearly. So m equal to m max. Okay, that is minus p into y max is I will write here w by 2p EA by p into tan L by 2 into square root of p by EA minus WL by 4P. This is minus P Y max plus W by 2 into L by 2. Okay. So from this, you will write here again. From this, you will write like this minus here P and P will cancel. What happens? W by 2 square root of EA by P tan L by 2 square root of P by EI, okay, minus WL by 4. Okay, this one you see the P value here and here we taken common outside. Okay, then it will be cancelled like this. Okay, then plus WL by 4. So here WL by 4, WL by 4 will be cancelled. You will get only this one. That is nothing but M max equal to minus W by 2 into square root of EI by P into tan L by 2 into square root of P by EI. So this is the maximum bending moment we got here. So the negative sign is due to the sign convention only we got here. Okay, hence the magnitude of the maximum bending moment, the M max, that is the positive sign we have to take. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is the maximum bending moment. And next thing is the maximum stress. That is nothing but sigma max. This maximum stress induced is due to the direct axial compressive load and due to the maximum bending stress. This one yesterday class we discussed already, that is sigma naught plus sigma b. Okay, here sigma naught is nothing but stress due to direct axial compressive load, that is nothing but P by A. Okay, but sigma b is nothing but stress due to bending. Okay, so now we have to calculate the stress due to bending. How we will calculate the stress due to bending? We know the formula bending theory, M by I equal to sigma b by y. Okay, so sigma b equal to M into y by I. So here M is same like this, y equal to yc, so I is nothing but a small k square. Okay, so yc is here distance of the extreme layer in compression from the neutral axis. We know I equal to ak square, small k is the radius of gyration, and moment equal to m max. Okay, so now the maximum bending stress I will write here, that is m max into yc by a small k square. So M max we know already, just now we calculated, that is W by 2 into square root of E by P into tan L by 2 into square root of P by EI. Okay, by AK square multiply with the YC. Okay, so this is the maximum bending stress. Okay, so now the maximum, the stress induced, that is the sigma max, whatever we got here. So this one. So now we know sigma naught and sigma b. So just now we calculated the sigma b. So now we need sigma max. Substitute this both sigma b, okay, at this one sigma b as well as sigma naught in the sigma max equal to, I will write again, sigma max equal to here whatever we are observing, sigma naught plus sigma b, that is nothing but stress due to direct axial compressive load as well as stress due to bending. Okay, the stress due to direct axial compressive load is P by A. Okay, so just now we calculated, I will write 1 second. Yeah, just now we calculated sigma b is nothing but W by 2 into square root of EI by P into tan L by 2 square root of P by EI, okay, multiply by YC by AK square. So this is the sigma max value. So this derivation is the strut is subjected to the compressive axial load or axial thrust and a transverse point load at the center. Okay.